is ANN News Brief.
The Angolan Parliament has approved the ratification of the Paris Climate Change Agreement. The country has been a part of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change since year 2000. The agreement marks a historic turning point in the world's response to climate change, with the aim of seeking to keep the global temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius and to continue efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees. This ratification will ensure Angola's access to financing for climate projects. The Angolan government announced last year its intention to ratify the 2015 Paris Agreement on Climate Change within the United Nations Framework Convention, as it pointed out then that the oil industry was the most polluting. Comoros President Azali Assoumani has met with local elected officials in the capital Moroni, during which the local officials assured Assoumani of their support for the Comoros Emerging Plan to meet the legitimate expectations of the Comorian people. The local elected representatives also expressed their commitment to the preservation of peace and security as they emphasized social cohesion. The president assured mayors of the different municipalities of his commitment to efforts aimed at improving the living conditions of Comorians. After the meeting, Assoumani traveled to the port of Bongoma that has continued to deteriorate after Cyclone Kenneth blew through the port last year. We'll be right back.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network, ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Uganda is looking forward to next year's elections and is preparing for scientifically conducted campaigns should the threat of coronavirus persist in the country. The Ministry of Health, along with the Ugandan Electoral Commission, has recommended that public political rallies be avoided if coronavirus threats continue. It says the candidate will have no other choice but to reach out to their electorate through other media platforms. But experts express fear that media access in the country is not widespread. Survey shows that 67% of Ugandans personally own radio sets and 12% share in the household. Only 78% of the population own mobile phones. The survey also shows only 21% of the population own television sets, while 8% share in their households. 71% of the population do not possess television sets. Access to computers is even more limited as 92% do not own computers. With these disparities, experts say there would be reservations over likely election outcomes of a campaign in which political hopefuls are unable to sell their manifestos to most of the electorate. That is ANN News Brief at 11. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adeyemi.